go from absolute zero to making 1 lakh per day with Indian dropshipping in 2026. So this screenshot is one of my clients, Vansh. He recently hit 1 lakh a day, as you can see, and we also recorded like a Q&A video. You can watch that. It was the last video that was uploaded. But it was more like it was like a testimonial style video, so I couldn't share a lot. So in this video, I'll be sharing how do you actually do this and what's the thought process behind this. And by the way, this is not some bullshit thing. This 85 orders pay, you have like some 30 rupees, 40 rupees, 50 rupees, or for that matter, even 60 rupees or 80 rupees money. We have got CM2 of about 25 to 30% on all the stores that we run. We say compare, we don't operate. Okay, if you don't know what's CM2, just give me a minute. I'll make this bigger. Yeah. Yeah. So the CM2 on this is about 25 to 30%, and we are still working on the margin so that as we scale it, holds and we can maintain the good margins. Now, if you don't know what CM2, it's basically contribution margin to. And what this means is that net profit after all the costs, including ad costs. Okay, so it basically means that how much is this particular product contributing to the profit of the entire company before your fixed costs like salaries and overheads and blah blah blah. Since Vansh is mostly working solo and he has a team and he doesn't really have a lot of fixed costs, so it's mostly like the net profit, you can say, after all the costs. So how do you actually do this in 2026? Because you'll find a lot of videos that teach you a lot of wrong things. But if you watch this video till the end, there's going to be a mini course. I'm going to make a detailed long course, like 6 to 8 hours long, in September. The reason I'm going to make that in September is because I'm going out for a trip and it will actually take some time to make a long video. But many people were requesting for a beginner style course, and so I decided to let's make a mini course that actually helps you take some action while I'm back after the vacation. And yeah, so the first thing that you need to understand is that in India you cannot really do dropshipping. Okay, so what is dropshipping exactly? Dropshipping is basically when you take a product that you don't own the inventory for, and then you simply ship it directly from the supplier to the customer. That's what we know. But the problem is, in India, you can't really do that because there were third-party platforms like Roposo and stuff. Roposo, Dropdash, Dropship, India Live, and whatnot. Like there's some others I don't know. But more or less all of these, Roposo is already dead, right? And you also have some others, but I don't really know how long they're going to last as well. The problem with these is that they are pretty bad, more or less, and you'll never be able to make good profit. So this CM2 25-30% I'm talking about is because Vansh and we, all the clients with me in general, we work with a private supplier. We don't go ahead and work with some random ass third-party platforms. So that's the thing. And the fact says that if you're going to work with these platforms, you'll never be able to have good margins because you really don't have any control over how these operate. So in India, you really cannot do traditional drop shipping per se, because you have to hold inventory if you really want to make good money and actually succeed at it. You can find private suppliers who do drop shipping. That's also one thing that you can do, but the problem with that is that not all of the suppliers support drop shipping. And the problem is that a lot of the products that you will find with suppliers who will support dropshipping are more or less very saturated, and you will not be able to separate yourself as a beginner. Now, obviously, it's not a bad idea to sell a saturated product because a saturated product is in different terms a validated product. But the problem with that is that the margins become so thin in India because more or less people like to sell at very low prices. And as a beginner, you really don't understand marketing and direct response. So it is really difficult for you if you go about selling a very saturated product because you're basically going against the tide. You need to figure out a way where the tide is on with you. Like you might have heard of something called the headwind and the tailwind, all right, in airplanes. So headwind is when हवा जो है सामने से आती है, and tailwind is when the air is from the back of the plane. So if there's tailwind, then the plane moves really sooner, and the destination might be reached instead of in 5 hours in 3 hours. Whereas in case of headwind, if it would normally take 5 hours, it would take like 10 hours or 7 hours. I'm just giving you an example to like put you a metaphor here. So if you're gonna work with these, or if you're gonna do make things complicated for yourself, then you're basically working with headwind. Why would you want to do that if you can just have tailwind? So what you instead want to do is you want to find products which have very less competition or saturation. All right. And how do you do this? So it's actually not as complicated as people make it to be. So what you basically have to do, I'm not going to tell you to go on some random ass international market and rip Kalo product or whatever the hell, because I know that if you're watching this video, you probably don't have 5 lakh rupees to get started, and because importing products costs a bit of good money and you'll need to have at least 3 lakhs budget. So I'm assuming you have somewhere around at least 1.5 lakhs budget, because below that you cannot start in 2026. But I'll try to keep it as cost effective as it is for you. All right. So what you need to do is you need to find products which have very less competition or saturation in the market. All right. And or otherwise, what you can also do is you can take already validated products. Now this you can do if you have some more money. Okay. If you have like pretty less budget, okay, like let's say just 1 lakh and you have to make it work, then just go with this, because you have basically more chance. But if you want ki nahi, I have some money and I also want to, like, let's say actually like I'm ready to learn a bit of direct response, and you can go with this as well. All right. So the thing is that once this is done, either of it, the thing is that this will cost you less money but more time. This will cost you more money but relatively lesser time, because the product is already validated. All right. So what you do in each of these scenarios? So this is the first scenario. This is the second scenario. All right. So what do you do in each of these? So the first thing, like let's say how do you find the product with less competition or saturation? You basically go to FB Ads library. All right. And I know you might have heard this. Okay, we know this already. And you gotta scroll basically. You gotta scroll for hours, and I'm not gonna give you some shortcut here, because there's no shortcut here. You just have to go to FB Ads library and you have to scroll, and you have to find and you have to create a list. Now I'm not gonna give you some fake thing here कि यार ऐसा कोई shortcut है जिससे निकल जाएगा. No, there's no shortcut here. When I didn't have the money for the tools and all that, when I was starting out, I did the same thing. I used to go to FB Ads library, create a spreadsheet, and उस spreadsheet में I used to shortlist 100 products every day. ठीक है, 100 products every day. मतलब every day 100 नहीं होता था. Some days 50, some days 60, some days 70. But more or less by the end of the week I had good number of products. ठीक है. And once you have this, then on your छुट्टी का दिन, when you're off, ठीक है, you just sit down and you just review the products and just look at it and see how many people are selling it. ठीक है. See how many people are selling it and how many stores are running it, and use SimilarWeb or whatever to track the traffic. And you can use this Koala Inspector. This is this tool for Shopify, so that you can see what is the best selling product of that particular store. And if you find a product that has been best selling across 2 to 3 or 4 stores and not a lot of people are running it, that means that product is working out very well. So you can do that, and more or less it will be a product that you will be able to find in India as well. So make sure you select India here. Obviously don't select United States or whatever the hell. Make sure you select India here and just select all and just scroll. This is the way to go about it. You can use some terms, like you can use ChatGPT AI. It will give you some terms to find dropshipping products in India. But more or less this is how you do it. It takes a lot of effort, and that's why not a lot of people can do it. There's no way to shortcut this out, because that's just how it works. Now talking about if you want to work with a product that's, let's say, already been validated, like there are some products like I don't know, like what product to take. Obviously, given that the product has to be good, like you cannot just select some random ass wow factor product. The product has to solve a problem. This is very important. Now most people don't really understand. Like everybody knows, oh, the product needs to be problem solving, but nobody really understands what this means. You need to think from first principles. All right, first principles. What is a problem? Like, why will some random ass stranger, by seeing your ad, pay you 1,000 rupees, 1,500 rupees for your product? Until unless you solve a problem that has high intensity, all right, and has intensity and quick. Okay. What does this mean? So इससे मतलब ये है that it has to be a burning pain. It cannot be some random ass thing कि if it has to like make a difference instantly, and the person should be able to like visualize कि okay, if I get this is how my life's gonna change, and a big problem will actually go. It cannot be some random ass kitchen gadget or some I don't know what the hell people sell, lamps or whatever the fuck, right? So I'm not saying that you cannot make money or those things don't work, but again, I'm trying to tell you that you're supposed to operate with tailwind and not headwind. The problem with those the this kitchen tools and all this random ass things that people sell is that it's not very high intensity, because even if it is not there, people are still going about their lives like fairly normally. If it's there, then that also doesn't really make that big of a difference. So will not be able to margin have a good margin on this. But if you are solving a problem that has very high intensity, the thing is that you'll be able to command margins. And the thing about meta ads is that, and not in meta ads, I don't know who said it, I think Dan Kennedy said it, I don't know who said it, that the person who can pay the most to acquire a customer is the one who wins. So you need to be able to have good margins, because you want to outbid everyone in the auction and absolutely destroy everybody, right? And that's only possible when you have good margins. So think from first principles and just think if this is something that would make sense and would actually solve a problem. It's not really that difficult. Just listen to your heart in this, and just like listen to that intuition and that gut voice. Ki, "Acha, okay, this is actually something that people will buy." Stop for a moment thinking ki, which product will make me the most money, and think from the point of view of the customer ki, which product will actually make a difference in a human being's life. All right, and once you can think like that, once you can develop this model of thinking, you'll be able to find winning products like very easily. And this is why this is necessary, because once you do this for like a month or two, you will have developed eye. You can just look at a product and understand, okay, so this product is going to be a winner, this is not going to be a winner. How do you think I can look at a product and understand, okay, this is going to flop, this is not going to flop? Because of this, you have to do this, as I explained in the law of polarity video. So this is the thing. Now, how do you go about validated products? All right, how do you sell the validated product? So to sell a validated product, you'll have to differentiate yourself with marketing. It's very obvious, right? So you obviously should not go and pick a very, very saturated product like, I don't know, some Adivasi hair or whatever the fuck. Don't pick that, right? Some obviously product has to be good, and like let's say 20-30 people are selling it, or it's fairly saturated, and there's a bit of competition. How do you differentiate yourself? So the biggest mistake that people make is like, if someone is selling it for $6.99, people go and sell for $4.99 and understand, oh wow, this now I'm gonna cut the competition and I'm gonna sell it. But this is not what you have to do, because if you compete on price, it's a race to the bottom. You're not Walmart, you're not some random ass, you're not Ambani who can bear losses to capture the market and then charge premium as you wish. You don't have this. You have to make money. You have to be profitable. And if you go about playing by the game of price, it's just a race to the bottom. So what do you do instead? You play on value, or what should I say, the perception of value. Okay? And how do you influence perception of value? By your marketing. To be exact, direct response marketing. All right, so direct response. Okay. So what do? You have to learn human psychology. Okay. So read books like, I don't know, Influence, Laws of Human Nature, or kya hai, and read some sales, right? Don't read breakthrough advertising, because you'll not understand it. I don't know why people recommend breakthrough advertising to everyone. It's like, you can only understand that book when you have some bit of experience, or you'll not understand shit. Influence, persuasion. What else? You can also like go ahead and see see and watch videos like Iman Gadzhi, after reading these books obviously, and Charlie Morgan, and all these like top guys in their space, and just watch their videos and see how they, and go and analyze their funnels and see how they actually close, because of principles and fundamentals stay the same, and you can just understand that. And these are a few books that you can read. And yeah, I think that's it. If something else comes to mind, I'll tell you. But yeah, just read books, understand the basics, right? And yeah, so you have to basically play on the perception of value. And how do you do that? You have to make great ads, or make great funnels. Make great ads, great funnel, great ads, funnel, offer. Okay. So how do you do this? Now, obviously, that's below, like, out of the scope of this video. That is something that I'll teach you in my mentorship program. And I'm also obviously going to be making a detailed, longer course where we will go in a bit more depth. But obviously, if you want the best information, I'll have to gatekeep it, because obviously it's top tier information. I cannot just reveal it on YouTube for free. So, you can join my mentorship for that. You can join my Discord or email me, and let me know about it, and we can see how we can actually make it work for you. But basically, this is what you need to do. You need to make great ads, great funnel, and have a great offer. And once you can do this and influence the perception of value, that is when you can, instead of charging less, you actually have to charge more. So instead of if someone is selling something for $699, you sell it for 1500 or 2000. Okay. But people do the exact opposite for some reasons. All right. Now, how do you do this? Again, as I told you, you cannot just go ahead and increase your price and expect to start printing money, because it's not how it's going to work. Because obviously, you have to have a high perception of value and have really great marketing for Facebook to consider you and for people to actually buy from you. So yeah, that was the video for this. That was for this video, guys. If you liked it, then you can like, share, and subscribe, and let me know what other videos you want to see. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.